All right, and we're live. Welcome to your Drop Zone Marketing Pre-Flight Checklist for 2025. This is just a high-level 10,000-foot overview of what we're investing in, the right platforms and strategies, and what we're seeing is working in digital marketing moving into 2025. So today's Wednesday, March 12th. I know a lot of you guys are seeing warmer weather. We're definitely seeing warmer weather and starting to fly out here. So I expect, over the next month that things are really going to pick up. Compared to the last few years, we know the industry's been a little bit on a decline, but I think that, with an effective marketing plan, we can really get people to invest in an experience that they're going to remember, punctuating, this year with that excitement. So experience gifting definitely is the way. So my plan for this session, we're going to take a look at your marketing strategy. And do you have one? We're going to take a look at your customer management system, your Dizio, your Burblesoft, and tracking results there. Take a look at your website, local search engine optimization. We're going to take a look at your paid advertising strategy, email and text message marketing, and then your social media marketing strategy. So a lot going on there. And then at the end, we're going to dig into public relations and earned media, which earns us kind of the best type of like SEO backlinks. So who am I and why should you listen to me? If you've been to the session before, we've been introduced. I'm a skydiver, a father, a husband, and a Marine Corps veteran. Met my wife on a 5-minute call. And so the sport has been very impactful in our life. I have 16 years of digital marketing experience, and that includes in the industries of financial services, insurance, and attorneys. Those are some of the most competitive areas to do paid media and SEO and all this stuff in. So I'm bringing that knowledge to bear with the skydiving industry since March of 2020. Happy 4-year anniversary to the business. And I launched the agency full-time in January of 2024. You guys will be able to find this full monthly webinar series available on YouTube after we do the live recording. Trusted by some of your favorite brands, guys. So we've done a couple rebrands, Skydive Sebastian, Skydive Arizona, really updated what we're doing on the web there. Really helping me propel these guys' business into 2025. So let's take a look at your overall marketing strategy. One of my mentors says, what you measure improves, right? So we got to talk about measuring the different marketing channels, right? Where does our traffic come from? Is it coming from local search optimization? Is it coming from paid ads? Is it coming from social? Is it coming from email, right? We can track that digitally in Google Analytics. And then on the next level, where does your revenue come from, right? What are the most impactful channels to invest in?
Sorry about that. I'm in a Zoom meeting.
All good, no problem. We just started rolling, so it's all good. And then at a higher level, right, let's look at our customer acquisition cost versus the lifetime value of a customer. And what are we doing to increase that lifetime value?
Yes, you call the stabilizer.
There's a lot of things that we can do to increase that one-time order and turn customers into raving fans who then recommend us to their network, right? So we gotta be taking track of these things. And you also know, once you know your customer acquisition cost versus the value, you know your profitability, you know what you need to invest in these various channels and which ones are too high. And then this is probably the most toughest part. Are you making a consistent effort across these effective marketing channels? That can often be difficult. Maybe we make a strong effort, we get a bunch of leads, we're flying, we kind of things ramp down. Really making that consistent effort is super important. And if you've been to one of my webinars before, I've dropped out this chart, the elements of an optimized digital campaign. It all starts with your website, right? We're driving traffic from search engines like Google, YouTube, and Bing. That includes from maps. We're driving traffic from social media, not a whole lot, but people are engaging a lot on social media. And maybe we're investing in some paid advertising like Google ads. And then ultimately, we're making customer connections and they're opting in to trust us with their name, their email, and their phone number and their life, right? And the most important things there might be the email and phone number. So we're taking that, right? And we're using it, right? So we've got their data. We're getting some reviews and reputation across online platforms. We're emailing them, maybe sending an occasional text message, and then retargeting anybody who's maybe visited the website, been introduced to our brand, but hasn't jumped yet. We're hitting them up with an ad on YouTube, on Facebook, on all the socials. And then we can pipe our data back to the various platforms to optimize with our audience lists, right? So the next step here is check out this pattern. We actually have this sort of circular feedback loop where we're making customer connections, feeding that data back to social media. Social media is driving it back to the platform, and the same on the paid ad side, any paid ads platform. And we're priming the AI system here with our data to work better. All right, dropping back into things. So we're talking about how are we managing our drop zone, and then how are we measuring digitally the customers that come in? We've got all of these options in the skydiving industry, and ultimately measurement is conversions, right? We talk about in digital marketing, what's a conversion? Well, we want to measure with like Google Analytics we can pump that into Google Ads and really get some good results. Conversions are just important actions on your website. And there's a lot of different ways to track that. Probably Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager is the most popular, although Tag Manager can get a little complex. You want to measure a purchase, right? Is number one, and how much money people are spending on the website. A phone call might have a certain value. Maybe 1 out of 10 phone calls turns into a purchase, right? So we want to be measuring those. And then the URL clicks out to your shopping cart, whether you're using Dizio or Burble or something else, that you have a link to that shopping cart. Every time someone clicks on that link, they go to the shopping cart. So you got to calculate your conversion rate on that, and then assign a value to it, right? In Tag Manager or in Google Analytics. That value is super important to priming the AI systems that Google Ads and that Meta are using to optimize your ads in 2025. There's a lot of interesting considerations there with the paid media stuff, but we just want to look at a high level from here. Now, looking at your website, right? This is where we're driving all of the traffic to. So we want to make sure that that's optimized. And if it's been a while since you've updated that or even taken a look at updating it, here's our top considerations at Boomshot Media. Mobile traffic is super important. So you got to think mobile responsive design is going to be super important. People are browsing on their phone. The website needs to look awesome on their phone. Online booking links needs to be in the viewport. So when they pull that phone up, the viewport is, oh, you guys can't even see. The viewport is just this screen right here that shows up before they start swiping. And you want to be using rich content. You guys make incredible videos, take incredible photos, use those and you get phenomenal reviews, right? Post those on the website. Use tables, bullet points, break up the text, make it super interesting to be on your website in the first place. And you got to think about SEO if you're doing a site redesign, if you're getting rid of a whole bunch of old articles and kind of changing the page names and everything, that's going to have a serious impact on your organic traffic, which is your most valuable traffic channel. You're probably pumping about 55% of your revenue online through organic traffic across those channels. So super, super important. Make it fun to experience on a mobile phone and make the navigation super simple so people know exactly what to find and where to find it on their device. Then, speaking of organic traffic, local SEO, what's happening on Google Maps, to a lesser extent, what's happening on Apple Business Connect, but we definitely want to be engaged there, and on Yelp. Your Google Maps traffic equals revenue. That's your top organic revenue driver. And the ranking factors here, right? To get your business ranked, not just among your competitors or your fellow drop zones, but also amongst other tourist destinations, are going to be relevance to the search. That's managed by SEO and what we're doing on the website, and how we have our profile optimized with sort of the same keywords on the website. Distance to the searcher. Super relevant for a coffee shop. You guys are ranking statewide here, sometimes a little bit closer zoomed into a city. We can affect that with the next thing, prominence. We can affect kind of how Google is zooming into various parts of your state. But by prominence, we're talking about, are you asking for reviews each month? Are you building local listings and backlinks? Are you posting on social media? You got to be generating activity across all of these channels for Google to see you as a more authoritative and more competitive business. They're reading everything that's happening across the web. And especially when we've got Google Analytics on site, we're giving them that data of like people from social media spend 2.5 minutes on site, right? And they visit these pages. So that actually helps our ranking. Now, the maps ranking changes based on user location. So if you're just doing a local keyword search, just know that you're being GPS tracked everywhere you go. And that location is affecting where your drop zone is going to be done. So unless you want to go driving around, we got to manage that with some software. So a basic checklist for your website. On the homepage, your title tag should be your business name and probably your top 3 nearby cities. That's going to land you probably the biggest impact for those local areas. Changing the title tag and removing city names is going to have a negative impact. So if we're using those to update, our seasonal offerings, you got to think that that's going to change what we're doing. Your H1 tag, business name. And then your H2s are going to be like tandem skydiving, learn to skydive, experienced skydivers. Now you can use this same structure on geographic specific landing pages, right? So now you're like tandem skydiving Orlando, learn to skydive Orlando, and anybody targeting those specific terms are going to be landing on those specific pages. They're also great for Google ads if you're targeting a little bit outside your area and you want people to drive because you're a more awesome drop zone. Something to keep in mind is have a page specific to that location. And then we get to measure everything, right? What we measure improves. So there's a couple of tools. I use Search Atlas, and you'll see, unless you want to drive around in a circle like this and keep Googling your business, that's essentially what you're getting here, because we're spoofing the location of our bot and then Googling on the maps where our business is. So we sort of can measure the impact. And this is over, we usually do like a 70 or 100-mile radius. So you can see our ranking's pretty good out to about 20 miles or so, but then we drop out of the map pack in those orange and reds. And that is a significant amount of traffic that we can drive, especially for some of these search terms, if we're just doing like a skydiving near me or specific city. Local Falcon, White Spark, also good options. I'm on Search Atlas now, but we're always looking for the better tool. All right, paid advertising strategy. When I talk to a lot of drop zone owners, the paid advertising strategy is a place where you might be a little bit behind. Social media advertising was super effective during the pandemic, but the platforms change all the time, and so do the companies who are investing in those platforms. So it's a lot noisier of an online world now, and we've got to think of a strategy to punch through. So Google ads we're finding super effective because a lot of drop zones are just not bidding on the keywords that people are actively searching for your business. Go back to this map. You're not showing up on the map in those red areas. You can run Google ads there, right? And you're not showing up. We know they're searching high intent keywords. They're literally Googling tandem skydiving near me. You're not showing up organically. It's a no-brainer. You could target your low organic rankings, and they're ready to buy now. If you target the right keywords, they're ready to buy now. So you got to make sure that you're targeting the right type of keyword searches. Meta, on the other hand, right? When we're thinking about our paid strategy here, we're really dealing with cold audiences, right? So we want to reach people who have never seen our business before and they're not actively Googling for skydiving. But these are people who we can probably influence on social media as they're scrolling through everything, right? And we know that Meta has pretty low organic reach. So we're reaching kind of a segment of the people who subscribe to us, are raving fans. And if we're not boosting or running ads on Meta, we're kind of not reaching those audiences. So we're thinking here, there's a longer sales cycle. We're going to warm people up to the idea of jumping out of an airplane, but we can also do retargeting of people who've maybe landed on the website. They've interacted with our social media a couple of times. You know, based on those touch points, we can say, hey, maybe they're a little bit warmer. They've watched 3 videos, they've interacted with our page, they've hit the website. Let's hit them up with like a special offer, right, in this audience. Also, something that might be interesting is there's an option to build audiences based on birthdays in like March. Oh, birthdays in April, birthdays in. So you can reach people with a specific like birthday bundle. And I do suggest bundling things together instead of discounting, right? Just bundle a bunch of stuff together. Maybe it's like low cost and some swag. Don't discount so much, right? And the last thing here, digitally, email and text message marketing. So these are your raving fans. You've got their phone number, you've got their email. You know, let's honor that relationship that we've built with them. So by email, right, you're dealing with compliance there, but they've opted in, so we know we're going to get high deliverability. And email is a high touch marketing channel. You know, there's some brands that interact with me 1 or 2 times a day, and I don't mind. I just kind of swipe through and delete. And you know, Apple AI is making it a lot more easy to manage your email now. So for them, right, we want to be running review campaigns, gift certificates, and pushing out our news and content marketing, especially like our year-end videos or fun stuff we're doing for PR. On the phone numbers, the text messaging, you're dealing with compliance there as well. The A2P 10 DLC. I go in depth on another video about specifically that type of marketing. This is very low touch. We don't want to abuse people's phone numbers once we get it. You know, these are people that maybe we want to hit up for a review, maybe once or twice via text message, and then just occasionally for the gift certificate or something awesome. Do not blow people's phone numbers up. They will do not disturb you real quick. Interrupt their social media feed, jump in front of high intent search, ask for those reviews. You know, that's going to generate a lot of traffic and a lot of awareness for you guys. Social media marketing, right? My big point, there's a lot of drop zones who are doing really good stuff organically. A lot of it you could just appropriate. If you have a big fun jumper community, you could just sort of repost their stuff and comment and engage, and they like that. Really, the main point is actually be social. Probably like half of the social media accounts out there is just being generated by ChatGPT anyways, right? So what we can't do with ChatGPT is engage with the audience in a unique way, right? So have somebody at Manifest, when you've got some downtime, be out there engaging, right? You could run some skydiving movie trivia, comment back to what people are saying, and like actually have a conversation. And then just realize, right, your fun jumper content can turn into tandem jumpers. So as you're expanding those audiences in your paid ads on social, you can share that type of stuff too, or the movie trivia type stuff, or just something that's just fun, right? On social, we want to like entertain and inform, maybe, and with the occasional call to action. On Google Ads, it's just like, hey, come buy now. Why? Because we're awesome, right? And then think about boosting, right? Think about social media and content marketing as part of your paid media strategy. If you wrote an article about something cool you did last year, consider putting a little bit of money behind that, right? Maybe $100 a month to get eyes on and get awareness that maybe some new people. Probably don't expect to see that a whole lot of like revenue built from the in Google or in Google Analytics. But that's gonna give you that long-term audience that you can sort of nurture and look back at your books year over year and say, hey, you know what, we're doing some solid growth here. The last thing I want to talk about is public relations and earned media. You know, we do a lot of cool stuff at our drop zones, and we generate a lot of cool video. And you know what? It's great to do some local outreach, right? So I think about local outreach as far as link building. So something we did with our attorneys is think about event sponsorship, right? So 5Ks, you could sponsor like homecoming games. You can sponsor local auto races. And then a unique thing we can do, obviously, if you have a pro rating, is that you could do a demo at this jump. And then guaranteed everybody's going to have eyes on at the event, right? And then afterwards, we're going to ask them to link back to our website real nicely. That's going to get us a huge SEO authority boost compared to, you know, folks who maybe aren't engaging with the local community like that. Make-A-Wish jumps, the same thing, right? The idea is really build a list of local journalists, event sponsors, start developing those relationships and having communication. So when the time comes, you're on the list, you get notified, you know, you can sign up and kind of do a cost benefit analysis there. And doing that sort of thing can get us earned media, right? Which is sort of the best type of marketing, is when a journalist hits you up and says, I want to write about your business. And then they come out and visit and they do a little story, right? That's really going to be huge. It's going to be shared and syndicated kind of everywhere. We'll get a nice flux from that. So ultimately, have a plan for success, right? Every time we get in the airplane, first time of the day, we got our pre-flight checklist. We kind of go through all of our systems, right? Marketing is no different. And especially as we're changing parts out and we're updating our avionics and we're swapping the oil, there's a lot of work to be done. So having a marketing strategy in the first place is important. And you don't have to be an expert at that, right? Like what you measure improves. So just getting interested in seeing where this traffic comes from, you're going to notice things, and then you start investing in that. And that this, you know, this is the marketing process. So we're thinking about local search engine optimization, right? Our maps and our reviews, thinking about doing some content marketing, public relations, boosting that stuff on social, and capturing emails, text messages, and then just improving on that with our marketing, right? And building those high touch point raving fan customers that we've dealt with. And then we ran down through the social media strategy. And at the end of, obviously, you know, you might want to consider a partnership with Boom Shop Media. The consistency of marketing efforts across all of these various platforms as they're constantly changing, that can be something very worth offloading to the experts like us, right? And in that vein, you guys can sign up for a free strategy session on my website, boomshopmedia.com. What's included in that is taking this entire strategy that we've talked about, and we'll apply it to your company specifically, right? So we'll deep dive into your past marketing, take a look at what's worked and maybe what needs improvement. We're going to do an SEO audit, a paid media audit, and give you our recommendations on where you should head from here, and give you a roadmap to success in 2025. And from there, you know, we'll tell you what it would look like to work with Boom Shop Media to implement that roadmap versus doing it yourself. But obviously, with these free webinars and everything, I absolutely support your internal marketing operations. Please invite your staff to come by and learn. And so if you want to sign up for that strategy session, it's a free service that I have for you guys. I really want to make sure that, you know, we crush it this year and help support the industry. So you can sign up at discover.boomshopmedia.com. So there's a link. It's usually about a half-hour session. Sometimes we can push it back a little bit more. But most drop zone owners I talk to find a lot of value in just the discussion. So I absolutely encourage you to sign up if you're interested in us taking a look at your marketing program for 2025.